Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Don't miss out on our comic book creator interviews, including our monthly Chichester chats with comic book legend DG Chichester, superhero movie brackets in our search for the worst comic book movie of all time, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/capesandlunatics. Hope to see you there.
This is Luca Perich, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Recording has started. In a world of capes and lunatics, of gods and monsters, there comes a threat that arises that is too great for any one hero to face alone. In those times shall rise a team of Avengers. And this is Avengers Declassified. Hello, once again. I am your host, Charlie, the Professor Esser, and with me, as always, is him, the blue-eyed bomber of the Burg of Pitts,
Phil Podcast Perich.
Welcome, Philip. The podcaster, the man who makes all of this happen. So glad to have you tonight. Tonight, Philip, we are talking all new, all different Avengers. Issue 9 through 12.
Yes.
That's right, kids. 4 issues in one show. How do we do it? We cut out the middleman and pass the savings on to you. That's how. This is the first appearance of the all-new, all-different Wasp.
Yep.
This is Nadia Pym. And I gotta tell you, the timeline in all of this is always very weird.
Yeah.
Because I remember when they... I guess the timeline does make sense, because there was that... Because they had Nadia. Because first they thought Nadia was gone, and then Nadia had her brain expanded. And then they got back together, and then I guess she died another time off screen. Or at least that's what they thought. But actually, she was pregnant the whole time. And that's where Nadia came from. So, yeah.
Maria. Oh, was it Maria?
Maria.
Pym?
Maria Pym. Yes, Maria Pym, who was captured by Russian. Yes, Tristan. No, not now. You can do it after the podcast. Okay. He wants to download stuff onto his headset. And it's like, no, can we all just not be on the Wi-Fi when I'm trying to do a podcast? Yeah, no, it's like they... Because, you know, the VR stuff, that really overheats the Wi-Fi. And it's like, yes, VR is fun. It takes up a lot of data. So anyway, but yeah, so this is her return. Except first, there's more time travel shenanigans, Phil. Because the Vision is out of sync.
Yes.
And that is problematic for everyone. Especially for the Vision, who is like, I'm going to have to go kill that king by the end of this. But in this, you know, you have basically suddenly all of a sudden these lasers are coming out of nowhere, blowing up the wall, and then Nadia shows up, and then that's when things go crazy because when she shows up, they think she's the person who blew the lasers, but then actually it was Vision, because he tries to shoot his lasers, but they don't go where they're supposed to. They go back in the past, and that's when things happen. And then, obviously, his hand goes through. What's his name?
Nova Sam
Alexander. Sam Alexander. Yeah, I always want to call him Brandy. But you know, so that's that. That's that craziness. And that's really all that happens in this. I mean,
there's
not much to it.
Vision's out of control when we meet the new Wasp. Yeah, and I love it's like, you know, when she's like, I don't have any memories of my birth mother. I just remember a man with a star on his arm, meaning the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, yeah, and they show it to us. Yeah. So we're like, dude, that's Winter Soldier. Yeah. We all know who that is, Nadia. You'll probably meet him later because.
I mean, yeah, they basically give her the Damian Wayne origin. It's like, I was trained from a young age, and
Yeah. Well, actually, what I like about her is that she was trained at a young age, and they said, "Oh no, she's good at math." It'd be completely a waste to make her be an assassin. Make her do math instead. That stuff's hard. So they made her do math, but she was really good at math. So remember, kids, be good at math, and you don't have to kill people yourself.
You can hire people.
Well, yeah, exactly. You can tell them. Here's just like in my new favorite comic book, A Calculated Man. If you're good enough at math, you just tell people who to kill. Anyway, moving right along. It's a light issue, but this is an introduction because over the next couple issues, we're going to be jumping back and forth between our main team and a little Jarvis and Nadia road trip.
Yeah, because Jarvis is taking her to meet Janet Van Dyne, but meanwhile, Sam Alexander's going off to space to look for his father, and Tony's like, "Hey, let us come with you and help."
Why not? Let's all go to space.
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong, indeed? And it's interesting because they choose not to take a Quinjet, but to just retrofit something to utilize the Mjolnir to fly through space.
Well, remember, they don't have a lot. You remember, Tony don't have he's not as rich as he once was. So I don't think they have a Quinjet at this point, or
they
not one that can go into space. They might have one, but I don't think it's space worthy. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's always the problem when you get rid of that's the problem with Tony Stark is that he rebuilds his fortune whenever he wants. So every so often he just decides to be a poor for a while to bring him back to his roots. And it's like everyone else, like, dude, it would just be so much easier if you could just be rich and like go to a psychiatrist instead. Just like go talk to someone about this and like not always having to give away all your fortune, because it makes all the rest of our superhero lives so much harder when you do that.
Yeah, Tony has lost and like rebuilt his fortune at least 3 or 4 times over the years.
Yeah. Well, I think when Alan Moore did that with Ozymandias, that was a joke. But it's like, no, this is actually a fun thing we can do with his character because we've made him so smart. It's like Reed Richards, who also did this once, just a joke with himself. It's like, I'll say we lost our fortune, then I'll have a workaday job, and my family can feel like a family, like a nice, And I actually liked it when the Fantastic Four went and like had their little suburban secret identities for a little while. I thought that was cute.
Yeah.
It didn't work for. Obviously it causes problems, but Reed tries. That's what I'm saying. Tony Stark, I don't even think he tries to go broke. I think he just winds up going broke every so often, and then he decides to be broke for a little while, and then he just makes all of his money back.
Well, sometimes it's against his will. Like when he was, when he was the whole big alcoholism thing, Obadiah Stane took his company, and then after he disappeared in Heroes Reborn, I think was it some other company bought out his. So when he came back, he had to rebuild it. Sometimes it's just.
So sometimes it's just bad luck.
Sometimes when you get turned into a teenager and sent to another dimension, there's a hostile takeover of your company will happen.
I hate when that happens. Anyway, so.
Uh-oh, may have lost Charlie answer. But no, I like, yes, they Tony says they get this ship he got this ship cheap from Reed Richards because Reed took the propulsion system out. So yes, basically Jane Foster, Thor's hammer, is powering this ship. Basically its warp core. But yeah, so yeah, again, the team's here to help Sam try to.
We're back. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Ben's download just stopped, so it's like, great, I get the Wi-Fi back. Yay. Yeah. So they go into space, but like I said, I like this issue because first off, we get a great thing that I don't think we ever resolve after this, which is we go to a planet that has negabands.
Yes.
And this is what is opening up a pathway to another universe, well, to the negative zone, where Annihilus is building a big weapon. That's where we live right now. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Nadia and Jarvis are going to go meet Janet Van Dyne.
Mm-hmm.
And Jarvis is like, no, you have to understand. She's very serious. She may not accept you. She may suspect what you're doing. And of course, she's like, no, cool. Let's go fly, girl. And they go off to fly to save the president because there's a microverse bomb, Phil. No, not in the comics. In the comics, Vision is based off of the brain patterns of Simon Williams, who they say they're going to have a Disney Plus series soon. So
Yes.
Simon Williams is Wonder Man.
I'm excited. Not as excited as Ray, but I'm excited. Yes, for Wonder Man.
I'm hoping that's Nathan Fillion.
Yes, that would be awesome.
That would be awesome. Everyone likes him. Although Nathan Fillion did get into trouble recently because he said he would work with Joss Whedon again.
Ooh.
Well, his statement was like, look, Joss Whedon says he's made a lot of mistakes. He's a work in progress. I like working with the guy. He never looked at my feet. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's, when you're in the business, I can understand you can have a relationship with someone. And honestly, the stuff people accuse Joss Whedon of, I don't know. It never rises to the level of certain horrible people.
Yeah,
it's just like generally being a jerk kind of thing.
Yeah.
I tolerate jerks,
Yeah.
I have a very high jerk tolerance because I say, they're being a jerk. Just ignore them, move on. And, because Gal Gadot handled him, she said, no, I'm not doing that. Shut up. And he's like, okay, I guess we're not doing that, If you just, that's what you got to do with it.
He just said he was going to destroy her career. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of good it did him. It's, you can say anything you want, and you don't cotton to it. You say, no, shut up. I'm Wonder Woman. F you, dude. Make the dang movie you were hired to do. Okay? Quit acting like you get to be here. You know? That's the thing, man. Poor guy. Anyway. It's just all agree that Justice League was a mess from the start. And
yes.
Right down to Ezra Miller, right off the beat. But anyway, getting back to this story. We are going in. We were on this planet that has a big donut monster that appears and sucks in people.
Well, yeah. They basically
it's super convenient, I guess. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Is that the whole purpose?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like an odd purpose if you ask me, but sure, why not? The idea that, I guess from my perspective, the idea of having the negabands, which are like considered to be like this super powerful weapon, it's like, no, I'm just going to use that to like randomly shoot down ships and then steal people randomly to enslave them to mine whatever ore this is that I need to power my gun.
I mean, they
are.
To
me, it feels like you have way too many steps in this Planet Nihilus. It's like maybe just think, what could I do with just the negabands? They seem pretty powerful. Captain Marvel used them. He did a lot with them. Maybe I could do something. I don't know.
They can harness and channel energy, and as we see, you can swap places with people, and
yeah.
Like
well, right there, that's kind of interesting. It's like, you could use them, swap places with someone in the regular universe. It's like, oh, look at that! Now I'm in the regular universe.
Isn't that
what I want to do to attack?
That was the whole thing with Marvel and Rick Jones.
Yeah, it's like you got that. You got your cosmic control rod and the negabands. I think you could do a lot more damage. That's all I'm saying. But that wasn't his plan. His plan was to randomly shoot down ships, hoping you don't accidentally shoot down Thanos one day, because that would be wacky. It's like, oops, sorry, Mr. Thanos. Oh, the donut monster brought in Thanos. Well, I guess we're in trouble now. Or it like just brings in the Hulk one day because he's out in space all the time. That could have happened. And now what are you going to do, Annihilus? You're not in a good spot when you bring in the Hulk.
Oh no! Don't give them ideas. First it was Planet Hulk. Now it's Dimension Hulk. Hulk in the negative zone.
Honestly, to me that's like, oh wow, that's actually probably the best thing you could do with the Hulk. And I bet you if you send him to the negative zone, it would actually work out really nicely because he would beat up Annihilus, of course, but then he's also probably going to find a nice, group of people in the negative zone to live with. So like when he sent him to the microverse and he just found a group of people in the microverse to just be buddies with,
Mm-hmm.
It was very happy until someone went and took him out of the microverse. Why did you do that? What was the point? Why are we always, it's like you can send the Hulk somewhere, just let him stay there. Don't bring him back. We don't need.
Well, I think that's what the Illuminati was trying to do, but it blew up in their faces.
They did it poorly, Phil.
Yes, he went to the wrong planet, and then the ship he went in blew up and killed a lot of people he liked. So yes, yeah.
That was Meek, man. That's like my biggest thing with Love and Thunder. Is like, are they going to be true to Meek? Is Meek going to betray them? Because I'm going to tell you right now, my friend, those monsters they're fighting, those look like insect monsters. And Meek actually does have a plot line where he's like, no, man, I needs to meet me some other insects. I needs to breed, So, there's a whole thing with that. Anyway, moving right along. They all get stuck in the negative zone where, of course, our teenage heroes have all been enslaved. Although, enslaved is kind of a harsh word in this because it's like, because almost immediately Ms. Marvel escapes because she's like, oh, these are handcuffs. I can just small in. And then, one of the other bad guys grabs him. And then they say, they know our powers and they're all going and they have counters to all of our powers. So don't even try to escape. It seems a little like defeatist in that scene. For something that's going to eventually be, well, no, actually, we have powers that they don't know we have, so we'll utilize them now.
Mm-hmm.
When they're actually in the mines, and then they're like, well, we can use the darkness and the choke points to actually do what we have to do, which they do, and then they escape, which is good. Unfortunately for Vision, he can't process antimatter suns. Because he needs that good old fashioned solar energy. Not he's like Superman. Put him in the wrong kind of sun, suddenly it really messes him up. So he needs just the right kind of sun.
Because even Tony's like the armor's not working at 100% because of the atmosphere and stuff. Yeah.
Too many free positrons. It's like I have a armor that works on electrons, not positrons. This is really harsh in my gig. Now, you would think that, of course, when you come through the event horizon into the negative zone, it actually reverses you into antimatter, so you don't actually destroy everything you touch. But they're not operating with that premise in this one.
What did they go through the distortion zone? They went through a donut, so.
Yeah, I mean that's an interesting question. But if they were all still just matter, then landing on an antimatter universe a planet would cause them all to disintegrate.
But maybe going through the donut gives you like a dirty transformation. You're just negative enough that you're not going to explode when you hit the negative zone. But yeah,
we're gonna say that's what happened, Phil.
Yes.
Here's your no prize. Okay, no problem. I got 1 million of them. So they fight. They fight Annihilus. They do blow up his machine, which is good because you need to do that because that was the machine that's going to shoot the big laser through the universe into our universe and destroy our universe as a thing you can do. And I like how they go about doing it because they have to they hook up the Nova helmet to connect to
Vision.
Vision so that he now has power, so he can fight. Thor can fight. Everyone can fight, but poor Sam Alexander. And then they start using the negabands. Once they can get the two negabands together, they can start switching out between the universes, which is cool. And they do this little thing where they keep on round robining. You come in, I go out. You come in, I go out. You come in, just tag teaming until they eventually blow up the machine because they have Sam Alexander go in. I'm not sure how Sam Alexander fits in the machine because the whole point was that Ms. Marvel in Smallland to get in there. But I guess when they switch back, I guess he's smaller. Is that what happened? I mean, I guess that's what happened. Or is it bigger on the inside once you're inside?
Well, I was going to say, how big is that machine? Yeah. I don't...
Yeah, because I mean, we figure she in Smallland to get in it, but maybe when she's inside, she could be proper sized. Again, it's one of these things when you're reading it, you don't quite notice it. When you read it a second time, it's like, well, there's some stuff I'm noticing now. We do blow up the machine. Thor fights Annihilus. Tony Stark comes back in and then grabs Mjolnir as it returns to Jane Foster, and that passes him through the universe because the hammer will always return when called to Jane Foster, because that's how it works. They leave poor old Annihilus over on the other side. Oh, and of course they open up the donut thing. They all go out. They save everybody. Yay, heroes! And they fix all the ships, Phil. They fix all the ships, or at least enough of the ships so they can all leave. And then they ask everyone to look out for Sam's dad and to text us if you hear anything. Which was good. Which was nice of them. Meanwhile, of course, back on Earth, Nadia and Janet save the president, and they get all the swag. And they had a really nice time, and they agree that Nadia gets to be the Wasp too. Yay!
Yeah, because I'm trying to remember. I was trying to remember. I think this is one of those points where Hank Pym is dead.
Yeah, he's dead for. Well, to be fair, Janet was dead for a while.
Yes.
Now Hank's dead. Yeah, everyone dies, and then everyone comes. You know what happens.
Yeah.
Now they're dead. Now they're not. Now they're dead again. But I'm glad. And it's nice. And now Hank Pym's back now, right? Hank Pym's alive.
I believe so. Yeah.
I want to say he is. I want to say he's alive again. So I'm wondering if him and Nadia have met. I'm sure they have, because that would be really weird if you brought him back and say, "Oh, by the way, your daughter's running around now." I think everyone's alive now. I think both Wasps are alive.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Hank Pym's alive because I know that he gave stuff to everybody. It's like I know that he set up the new Giant Man too, so that's cool. Yeah, that's a guy who's not getting as much play as he could, but all things in time. Yes, love you too, Tristan. Anyway, yeah, it was cool. And then the next episode is when Vision goes after Kang and does one more Kang variant just to throw off the timeline, because he could kill. For those who don't know, it's like he goes through, I could kill Kang, but maybe I'll just teach him to be a better person.
Maybe one day we'll come back and do more of the all new, all different issues. So
we'll see what we feel like.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of Avengers books out there,
Oh yeah, especially team books. And then you even get into the solo books and stuff. Yeah,
I mean, we're doing the whole Secret Wars too, man. That's the original stuff, man. All right. So, Phil, do you want to talk a couple of tangentially related Avengers books?
Sure.
Shall we start with Maestro? World War M #4?
Yes.
Now, here's a question. Was Namor ever an Avenger?
Yes. Yeah. He was...
Maestro's still alive?
Yeah.
This is in the future.
Yeah, like in the 80s, if not during the siege. Oh yeah, it wasn't there when the Masters of Evil take over the mansion, and like even a little before that. So like Namor was on the Avengers. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's been heroes many times. I was trying to think.
He was on there. He was on there for a while when Dr. Druid was on the team. Yeah.
Oh yeah, good old Druid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is fun. So of course, as you know, we've got what's is that Maestro? The
Is it Giganto?
Giganto, yes, Giganto, the whale who walks like a man. And poor old Abomination. He's like, what? Why? But I love this, and I like to think, wait, how did the Fantastic Four defeat this guy? Oh yeah, the thing went into his stomach and set off an atom bomb. I don't think I have one of those. Which is also just like, oh wow, that is some pure Silver Age. See, you can say which one. Like Stan Lee wrote that. That is a Stan Lee story. He takes an atom bomb in with him and blows it up.
Excelsior!
And then, of course, you know what the real joke of that is? It's like, yeah, and then that made that gave Giganto a tummy ache, and he had to go sleep it off for a couple of years. Like, but he got better.
Right.
And poor old Namor, he is like way off his meds, because his like dead kid and dead wife are there, and his wife's like Namor, this isn't what I would want for you. And then Namor's hallucinated son pushes his hallucinated wife off Giganto's like, good, we didn't need her at all, son.
Peter David.
He's in trouble. I love that Giganto is giving the Hulk a real run for his money. Like, and again, this is one of these things where you really realize, like, oh wow, I bet you after this is done, the Giganto is going to be fine. Yeah, Giganto is a giant whale.
Besides the harpoon through the eye, yes.
Well, yeah, but like I said, he had an atom bomb go off in his stomach. I think he can. I think he can heal. Or maybe next time we see him, he'll have an eye patch. And he'll go,
giant eye patch. Yes.
Yes. I remember when the Hulk took me eye. Now I've chased after him. Oh, well, yeah, it's very hard to kill Dr. Doom, although he's almost dead in this one, too.
I guess that means in this universe he is fully scarred.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's fully scarred in most universes. So, and this one, he just got beat up by the Hulk, too. So he's got, like, all broken bones and stuff. He's in a wheelchair. He is not happy. And,
Is that what you meant when he said he's almost dead?
yeah, and then he, like, blows up his attaché because he's like, well, what did you do? It's like, well, I took the Abomination to the transport. Like, you told me to accommodate him. He's like,
yeah, you told me to accommodate your guests.
Yeah. And there's good old Jim Hammond, the Human Torch. It's like, what's going on, man?
Jim Hammond?
Yeah, Jim Hammond, the original Human Torch. Yeah.
The original Human Torch was a cyborg.
Well, no, he's not a cyborg. He's an android.
Yeah.
He's actually a synthezoid. Yeah, he's a synthetic man. Yep, that's the same guy from the 40s. He's ageless and mechanical. He's super cool. Anyway, so, and of course, the whole city is being blown up, and Doom is mad because obviously, if you kill everyone, who are we going to rule? We can't rule them, Phil, if they're all dead.
Yeah.
Very short-sighted of Namor. Namor never cared, though. That's Namor's problem.
Namor just has anger issues.
Well, he didn't until like the Hulk went and killed his family.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, he always did, but that just made it 20 times worse. Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, I really just think, I see. This is why I think the Hulk makes most of his own problems.
Oh yeah.
Like because I think like at any point in this, he could have just sat down and talked to people, and maybe worked it out. But I think he goes to the fight too much. He doesn't like to lose a fight.
Especially the Maestro. It's this point, the Hulk's just going evil.
Yeah, well, but there's times in this where you can sort of see, oh, he kind of wants to be good because this is still the Professor Hulk. Remember, this is still one of the other personalities that Samson, Leonard Samson put in control. So that would be interesting if you had Doc Samson come in here and just sort of like, actually no, it wasn't Doc Samson. It was actually the Ringmaster.
No.
Ringmaster, the most powerful supervillain in the Marvel universe. That's what you got to realize. One of these days, Galactus is going to come, and the Ringmaster is going to go, and it's like, this is not the planet I was looking for. This is not the planet you were looking for. Doesn't Mars look tasty? Yes, Mars looks very tasty. I'm going to eat Mars. Which now that the mutants have terraformed it, it's probably really delicious. So, bon appetit.
It's vegan.
See, that's how you get rid of the mutants. Is you just have them terraform Mars, and then just someone says, "Hey, Galactus, there's another planet in this solar system you can eat now."
It's vegan.
It's vegan. It's all Krakoan stuff. Yeah, but it's fun. It's good. I like it. I like the fact that at the end of it, you get a nice little buddy team up with the Hulk and Abomination.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Hulk is like, yeah, we need to figure out a way that we can radio transmit it back to them and go give Doom a piece of our mind. And Abomination's like, you mean like something like this? It's like, great. Best friends forever now. I believe it, Phil. I believe they're going to be best friends forever. Okay. And of course, speaking of Hulk, we also had the new Fantastic Four.
Yes.
Which is not the new Fantastic Four. It's actually an old Fantastic Four that was briefly new.
Good.
And who is writing this?
Same guy, Peter David.
See, this is not his best work. I'm going to say. I will say it. No, it feels forced. I mean, granted, you have a priest with, I guess, magical wishing powers. That's his mutant ability. He wishes and things happen.
You mean Father Priest?
Father Priest, yes. I'm not going to fault him on his name. It's a real possible name.
Yes.
I don't quite understand, like, his powers are he wishes for things and they happen. And then at the very end, it's like, I wish we were somewhere else. And then he's in Reno. It's a little contrived. It doesn't seem to make a lot of sense, especially when the other three guys go back to the Baxter building, and of course, I guess Ghost Rider stays because Now this is Danny Ketch, right?
Yes, because this is set in the 90s. Yeah, it's Danny Ketch.
This is back in the 90s. Yeah, Danny Ketch, a very popular Ghost Rider among Danny Ketch fans. Yeah, it's like the premise is interesting, although it's weird because you start off with the nun and an evil priest, but then we see that the actual priest was dead the whole time, and the evil priest takes the nun, and that we don't follow up with that. And then the next thing we see is our good priest going into the rain sewers to talk to the homeless people, and we meet the pregnant lady, who we then later see because she's the one who tells Father Priest about the Mr. Ash, who is winding up the residents to go commit anarchy and stuff. But he sees that he can. But that's where we also see that he can see that they're demons. So
yeah.
He's got some interesting power set. He can see through disguises. His wishes come true. Probably a mutant. That's usually the guess, but we'll have to see where it goes.
It's either going to be mutant or some kind of supernatural thing, probably.
Yeah. He's just God's favorite. That's what it is.
Maybe.
His prayers just keep getting answered. It's like, what? His faith is so powerful that he just God says, sure, I'll randomly send you to Reno, but I'm gonna make it. But everything's gonna be there, and that was the other thing was just, Spider-Man, Wolverine, and the Hulk all just knowing they're supposed to be there, and it was weird because they also didn't say they knew they were supposed to be there until later in the book. Like I said, I just felt it was very inconsistent in writing. I think the story kind of jumped around a bit. And, maybe it's going to pay off as it goes. But, as a first issue, I was a little disappointed. What did you think, Phil?
I mean, I liked it. I mean, I get where you're coming from, but I wonder if it's going to be part of like the priest's magic spell that compelled them to come to Vegas. Because even in like the original story, like they were compelled, but it was like a device some Skrull used to like get them together. So to call them together. So
yeah,
I didn't know if it's like a callback to that, something calling them all together.
Unless there's someone else involved, that someone else is manipulating them, calling them, making them do this. The whole Spider-Man took the photograph. That was, I don't know if I felt that was cute and clever or kind of weird and on the nose. I also don't like the way that he's writing Wolverine in this. He's very I don't know. It just like when he slides down the building with his claws.
Oh yeah.
It's like, first off, why are you damaging that poor building? Because that it's like, first off, that's a very long way to fall.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, you could just jump off and get up because you got adamantium bones, so you're not going to break anything, and you're just going to heal.
Yeah.
It's like, why go through the trouble to damage the wall just to slow yourself down a little bit?
I mean, Peter David loves to inject humor into his stories. I mean, he's written Spider-Man and the Hulk, but I don't know. I just don't know if his brand of humor works for Wolverine. So that's
I did not. I mean, honestly, that would be, I would say, one of my biggest problems with it, because honestly, I did not think that Peter David wrote this.
Yeah.
Because I said, it is not witty. It is not funny.
Well, that's the other thing. I don't think he's had a ton of practice writing Wolverine. I mean, he's written a ton of Spider-Man and Hulk.
No,
so.
But even Spider-Man and Hulk, they're just really blandly written. I don't feel like you get the complexity of story that I'm used to from him. I mean, honestly, what it really feels like is it feels almost like a contractual obligation. It feels like maybe he didn't necessarily want to write a story, but it was like, we want to, this is a popular set of characters. Hey, you worked on this era of the Hulk. Why don't you write this story? And he was like, do I have a story to tell for that?
I mean,
you're going to pay me how much? Okay.
I mean, to me, it's almost felt like, oh, hey, the Father Priest story, guest starring, these Marvel characters, because those first couple pages, I'm like, well, when are we getting to Spider-Man and Hulk and everybody?
Yeah. But see, that would have been okay too. But then I need more about Father Priest.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the problem. It just seemed like it was weirdly okay. Here's all the pieces. So maybe like the second issue, it's all going to start to make sense.
I think he's
going to come into play, but it really felt like this was just. There wasn't anything in this to grab me, aside from the fact that, oh, look, it's that group of Fantastic Four people that we know from that one couple of issues.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to give more answers, but yeah, you needed like a bigger hook for the priest, to say, hey, why should we care about this guy? Yeah,
and it would be interesting. Now, again, on some of the covers, you have Ms Marvel. Now, if they had put that character in here, that would have been interesting. But I don't know how that's going to work with her larger arc in the stories that have already happened, since this is happening concurrent to those issues.
Yeah.
It's like there's all this other story that went on at the same time, and it's just which is one of the reasons I don't like when they do this particular gimmick.
Yeah.
It's like you could have this team reform like now, and it might be interesting.
Yeah.
When you like have it throw back to the 90s, it's like, but there's all this other stuff that happened at the same time, and
I just wonder if they do it as a flashback, just because it's like, okay, well, I don't have to worry about all, with Wolverine, all that Krakoa crap. I don't have to worry about I don't have to worry about who's Ghost Rider right now. I don't have to worry about, what Hulk's doing right now. I want Joe Fixit. I can use Joe Fixit because that's who the Hulk was in that era.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's cool. And I do like that they are using Joe Fixit. I like that they're really playing that nicely, but again, it just feels like he's there, but he's, it just doesn't feel like it. It is not Peter David's best work with these characters. That's just my feeling right
it's
now.
It's a slow build up. It seems like.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, hopefully it picks up. But yeah, it was like a slow.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was how many pages until we actually got any of our heroes.
Yeah. But again, like that was it. So that's sort of the thing, is like that buildup was kind of interesting. But like, and see, and that's the see, that's where it gets weird. It's like, because you have um, you know, Peter singing, "Oh, I should go to Las Vegas," and like they made it seem more coincidental that might
Yeah.
work. Oh, also, I didn't like the Vulture getting hit by a plane. That just because again, it seemed like a cheap joke.
Yeah.
And it's like if you actually think about it, like, that would probably really hurt. Yeah, go ahead, read it. That's we're talking about a different issue now, but that's the Maestro book. That's a good book.
I was waiting for the Daily Bugle headline: Spider-Man keeps elderly man from getting colonoscopy.
Well, that would have been interesting, but and that was the other thing. It's like, did he just like forget about the Vulture? Because the Vulture then goes on to rob a bank, as predicted.
That's what I'm saying. I wonder if it's going to be explained that it's some kind of mystic spell that compelled them. So it's like, oh, well, that's why Spider-Man just turned around. Yeah.
But you see, I guess that's sort of like what's weird to me is like, okay, make it a mystic spell, but then don't make them aware of it.
Yeah.
Like, because when they get there, they're like, well, we felt compelled to come here. Whereas if it's like, we don't know why we're all going to Vegas, but we all needed to be in Vegas. Something happened. Like, and for what it's worth, you don't have to, like, the Hulk is already in Vegas. You can have a contrivance that gets Peter to Vegas. Same with Wolverine and Danny Ketch. It's like none of these people could have just not shown up in Vegas at any given time. And having it be more coincidental might have made for a better story.
Oh yeah, you could have had the coincidence or just what somebody picks up the phone and says, "Hey, we got to get to Vegas." Yeah.
What's your question, Tristan?
This is off topic, but it's kind of related to.
The Maestro book. Yeah.
Well, not kind of, but it's related to like a future.
Mm-hmm.
It's Old Man Logan. Why did they have it where?
Oh, don't ask me about the Hulk and his family.
No, not that. I meant Red Skull.
Where he got to be president?
Oh no, where after he killed Captain America, he wore his costume, and then when he saw Wolverine, he just talked about how they wore the skin of their enemies or something.
Yeah, well, he was pretty far gone by the time Wolverine runs into him at the end of Old Man Logan. Yeah, Red Skull is. He had better days.
So many
super soldiers. Yeah, it's like you're losing the quality of the clones, and then the super soldier serum starts to break down, and it all doesn't work.
How did he get a Red Skull again?
Well, at that point in the story, he was actually just wearing a mask, I think. But when in the Universe one, he actually had his deadly dust blow back in his face, and that made his face into a Red Skull.
Did his skin just?
Yeah, it just contorts around you. Yeah, it's like the Joker. So, yeah, except it didn't kill him. So,
because he had it in a cigarette, he's gonna blow it in Steve Rogers' face, and John Walker hit him with the shield and made it. He went. He inhaled.
Don't inhale. That's the thing. And but at that point, like Steve already wait, why isn't he inhaling on his cigarette? And then Steve had already figured it out, and so but then good old John Walker, he's always in there to just randomly throw a punch or a shield or whatever he needs to, and that's what makes it great. All right, Philip. Anything else you want to talk about tonight from our books or the adventures of Avengers going out there in the universe?
I think we're good.
Okay.
But I was just going to say, next week, Summer 69 starts. So, yes, next week we're going to be covering Mighty Thor 160 through 163.
Woohoo. And then I think the week after that is going to be the Thor Love and Thunder review.
Yes.
If I recall correctly.
Remember,
because that's cool. And, let me just get up our little thing about our cape stuff right there. And like kids, do you like Thor? Do you like Love and Thunder? Do you like to eat beans with George Wendt?
Thunder can be. Thunder's not that fun sometimes.
Wait, what about
Ow.
Morbin? It's Morbin time.
It's morbid time.
I said I like love more than thunder.
Oh, he likes love more than thunder. Thunder
Yeah.
is too loud, but love is love. Everyone loves. Don't hurt your neck. Okay.
Love
So, guys, if you have thoughts on Thor: Love and Thunder, if you have thoughts on Thor in 1969, what issues are those again, Phil?
160 through 163 for week 1. So,
and what's going to be our final number on this whole run?
The final number will be 171. So yeah, if you want to read for the whole month, it'll be 160 through 171.
So, and special attention will be paid to issue 169. This, of course, is all part of Lilith's Summer of 69. You heard it here first, and you're going to enjoy it. If you'd like to give us your thoughts on that, why don't you write us a nice little email at CapesandLunatics@gmail.com. That's Capes and Lunatics, all spelled out, at gmail.com. And if you don't like to write, if you just want to talk, you can actually talk and be heard on air if you don't say anything dirty and we like what you say, by calling us at 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And of course, Phil, because I'm taking all your thunder, why don't you tell them what they can do in our show notes if they're so inclined?
For what? The merch and everything?
The link. Yeah, come on. I wasn't trying to steal all your thunder.
That's okay. But yeah, no, they've got social media links to our YouTube channel, links to our Patreon, links to the merchandise. Yeah, everything. Yeah, even the Cash App link if you just want to drop cash on us, everything's in the show notes.
Give us money.
That's right. But yes, if you want to do your one-stop shopping, it's Linktree, linktr.ee/Capes and Lunatics.
Thank you. Yes. And, join our Patreon. Help us decide what is the worst superhero movie of all time. Superman 3, the winner, or Superman 4, the loser, in this latest matchup. And see who goes on to the final worst superhero movie of all time. My money's on Puma Man. Okay. And then, kids, if you'd like to write to me in that old-fashioned me way, just write to me directly. Leave everyone else out of it. Do so at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, at gmail.com. And, of course, follow me on the Twitters as I live. Do you want to do the promo, Tristan? Okay. Yes. Well, it's whatever I feel like now, because there's nothing really to live tweet. Although maybe the season finale of Flash, because everyone else seems to be doing it, and I am a follower. So if everyone's doing it, maybe I will too. It all depends on whether or not I have to record the final episode of Obi-Wan with Maz that night. But that would be at Charlie Esser. That's CharlieEsser. Look for the 2 E's in the middle.
For quality. Bing!
Yes, thank you, Tristan and Maz. All right, ladies and gentlemen. No, we have a recording. Ladies and gentlemen, you have just listened to Avengers Declassified. This podcast will self-destruct in 10 minutes. Which would actually be a very long time to wait. So.
10 minutes? Yeah.
10 minutes, 10 minutes in, it's self-destructed.
Give you time to think about it.
Yes. All right. Remember, Avengers, disperse.
And remember, this summer 69 next week with those 4 issues. I believe Galactus is on the first cover, so.
Ooh.
Yes.
Good old Galactus. Oh, is this the one with the Destroyer?
I haven't read it yet, but could be.
Could be fun.
All right, come back next week, kids. Simple then.